Alone in the vast sky, a pilot faces the silence and the cold. Now rewind. Spring 1944. Over the Eastern Front, where the air was often a battleground, the young pilot strapped into his Messerschmitt Bf 109, ready to face the enemy. Erich Hartmann, a fighter pilot known for his skill and daring. He was alone, driven by an unwavering duty to protect his comrades and skies. The tension in his mind was palpable, a delicate balance between fear and the thrill of the hunt. Veteran accounts paint him as a man who could remain calm under pressure, his focus unyielding even when faced with impossible odds. "I don't fear the sky, only being forgotten." The sky was a place of constant change, where clouds could conceal or reveal. A place where every decision could mean life or death. As Hartmann soared above the landscape, his eyes scanned the horizon for any hint of movement. Archival footage and unit diaries describe pilots like him as having an almost instinctual sense of their surroundings, a second nature to anticipate the enemy's next move. It was this awareness that kept him alive, even when outnumbered 50-1. In the solitude of the cockpit, Hartmann's thoughts raced as fast as his aircraft. He was alone, yet connected to the pulse of war that echoed around him. To understand his mind is to grasp the fine line between courage and fear, between duty and survival. It's a dance as intricate as the maneuvers he executed in the sky. The morning light softened, casting a warm glow over the Eastern Front. The horizon stretched endlessly, a vast canvas of opportunity and threat. High above, Hartmann's Messerschmitt cut through the air with precision. Beneath him, the land was a silent witness to the aerial ballet unfolding above. The cockpit remained a sanctuary of focus, the engine's hum a constant companion. As the sun climbed, the landscape below seemed to blur into a mosaic of shadow and light. Hartmann's fingers danced over the controls, each movement deliberate, calculated. The silence of the radio was a reminder of his solitude, a stark contrast to the chaos that could erupt at any moment. Veteran accounts describe this solitude as both a burden and a relief, a chance to center oneself amidst the impending storm. "The silence is my ally and my enemy." Visibility was clear, but the air was tense with potential. Hartmann knew the enemy could appear at any moment, a sudden emergence from the clouds or over the horizon. His senses were heightened, every nerve attuned to the subtle cues of the sky. Unit diaries often recount the sharp clarity of such moments, where instinct supersedes thought and preparation meets the unpredictable. As the minutes ticked by, the cold seeped through his gear, a reminder of the harsh environment he navigated. Yet his mind remained steady, his breathing a rhythmic counterpoint to the engine's drone. It was this controlled calm that allowed him to face overwhelming odds, a trait noted in after-action reports as pivotal to his survival and success. Hartmann's thoughts were a mix of strategy and reflection, each decision a potential turning point, each moment a chance to outmaneuver the unseen foe. It was a dance of anticipation, where the cost of misstep was unforgiving, a contradiction of solitude and connection, of fear and control. The radio's sudden crackle pierced the frigid silence. It was time, a transmission from ground control, enemy fighters inbound. Hartmann adjusted his course. The horizon now a playground of tactical possibilities and looming threats. The sun hung low, casting long shadows across the landscape, painting everything in shades of orange and gold. His hands gripped the control stick with practiced ease, feeling every vibration, every subtle shift of the aircraft. The morning's calm dissolved into a heightened state of awareness. In the distance, specks appeared, enemy planes growing larger, more distinct. Veteran accounts often describe this moment as a surge of adrenaline, a mix of dread and exhilaration. The dance was about to begin. In the chaos, I find a rhythm. Hartmann's mind was a whirl of calculations and contingencies. He mentally mapped the sky, every cloud, every patch of open air a potential shield or trap. The enemy outnumbered him, but his resolve was unshaken. After-action reports highlight his ability to stay calm, his breathing deliberate, almost meditative, even as he prepared for the onslaught. The engine roared as he accelerated, the Messerschmitt slicing through the air with precision. The sky was his domain, the cockpit his fortress. A place where the chaos of battle was reduced to a series of calculated maneuvers. Records suggest Hartmann's strategy was to divide his foes, to isolate them and strike with the swiftness of a hawk. As the first enemy plane closed in, Hartmann's fingers danced over the controls, his eyes locked on his target. The air around him crackled with tension, as if the sky itself held its breath. The enemy was closing fast, their silhouettes sharp against the morning sky. A testament to the grim ballet of war. A split-second decision, dive, then climb. The terrain below blurred by, a mixture of green and brown, as he executed the maneuver with practiced grace. In that moment, the world narrowed to the few feet outside his cockpit, each action a step in the intricate dance of survival. For those intrigued by the mental fortitude required in such solitary combat, consider subscribing for a deeper dive into the minds of those who faced overwhelming odds with nothing but skill and courage. The sun dipped lower, shadows stretching, as Hartmann readied for another pass. His instinct guided him, even as the radio crackled anew, signaling the next phase of engagement. The sun hovered, casting a golden glow across the vast expanse. In the cockpit, the air felt electric, charged with anticipation. Hartmann's eyes darted from the instruments to the sky, scanning for any shift in the enemy's formation. The opposing planes maneuvered with a coordinated precision, a daunting sight against the endless blue. Yet Hartmann's focus remained unbroken, his mind a fortress against the chaos. The first engagement had been a blur of sound and speed, the roar of engines mingling with the staccato bursts of gunfire. Veteran accounts describe these moments as a suspension of time, where each second stretched, each decision weighed heavily. The cold metal of the controls was a constant reminder of the stakes, grounding him amidst the turmoil. Every breath counts. Hartmann adjusted his altitude, seeking an advantage in the changing light. The sky, once a canvas of serene hues, now teemed with the frantic energy of combat. Visibility was both ally and adversary, the sun's glare a double-edged sword in this high-stakes game. He felt the pull of gravity as he banked sharply, the aircraft obedient to his will. Records suggest that Hartmann thrived in these moments of high tension, his mind a symphony of calculations and instincts. The enemy was relentless, yet he remained agile, a master of the unexpected. His strategy was simple yet profound: disrupt, divide, and conquer. It was a tactic born of necessity, honed through countless encounters. As he looped back into position, the landscape below seemed to hold its breath. The fields and forests, indifferent to the struggle above, were a tapestry of muted colors. The air was thick with the scent of oil and cordite, a grim reminder of the battle's toll. Yet for Hartmann, this was the eye of the storm, where clarity and chaos coexisted. In the midst of his maneuvers, Hartmann found a moment of stillness, a brief pause in the dance, where time seemed to falter. It was here that the weight of his solitude pressed against him, a solitary figure amidst the fury. His resolve was unwavering, but the cost of this relentless pursuit was etched into every breath, every heartbeat. For those captivated by the psychological dance of aerial combat, consider subscribing to explore the depths of courage and strategy that defined history's most intense confrontations. As the shadows lengthened and the light shifted once more, Hartmann prepared for the next encounter. The radio crackled to life, a signal that the battle was far from over. The sun dipped lower, casting elongated shadows that danced across the cockpit's interior. The air outside was charged, a volatile mix of opportunity and threat. Hartmann circled high above the Eastern Front, a solitary figure in a theater of war. The enemy planes regrouped beneath him, their dark silhouettes stark against the fading light. His breathing steadied with a practiced rhythm, a ritual to calm the storm within. Each breath was measured, a counterbalance to the chaos unfolding around him. Veteran accounts recall pilots like Hartmann developing these breathing techniques, a method to anchor themselves amid the swirling tumult of aerial combat. The sky was his domain, yet each decision felt monumental, each maneuver a test of skill and nerve. "I'm the hunter and the hunted." As the enemy drew closer, Hartmann's mind raced through a series of tactical options. The weather map on his knee was a testament to the terrain below, a guide to the invisible lines of engagement. Some argue that it was his intimate knowledge of the land that gave him a crucial edge, the ability to anticipate and exploit the enemy's vulnerabilities. The sun's glare, once a hindrance, now served as an ally, a blinding shield as he positioned himself for the next attack. The engine roared to life under his command, a symphony of power and precision. Hartmann dived sharply, the landscape blurring beneath him as he aimed to divide the enemy formation. It was a maneuver of daring simplicity, yet fraught with risk. After-action reports highlight this tactic as both his signature and salvation, a testament to his audacity in the face of overwhelming odds. The enemy plane scattered, a momentary chaos that Hartmann exploited with calculated ruthlessness. Morale was under strain on both sides, the air thick with the tension of battle. Yet Hartmann's resolve held firm, his focus unyielding. Records suggest that this steely determination was his greatest weapon, a mental fortitude that set him apart in the sky's merciless arena. As the sun dipped further, the shadows deepened, transforming the sky into a canvas of shifting hues. Hartmann's mind was a battlefield of its own, each decision a step along the knife's edge of survival. The radio crackled again, a reminder that the fight was far from over. A map folded shut, a moment to recalibrate for the next phase. For those drawn to the intricate dance of strategy and survival, consider subscribing to uncover the layered psyches of history's most daring warriors. The light changed once more, casting a new play of shadows across the cockpit. Hartmann prepared for the next encounter, the battle ever evolving, a relentless test of endurance and will. The sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky a deep indigo. The battlefield of clouds and blue was now a fading memory. Hartmann's Messerschmitt cruised through the darkening sky, the fight behind him, yet the tension lingered in every muscle. The cockpit was a familiar cocoon, but the air felt heavier, the weight of what had transpired pressing down. The enemy had retreated, their formations broken. The radio remained silent, a respite from the chaos of earlier transmissions. Veteran accounts describe this silence as both a relief and a reminder of isolation, an opportunity to reflect on survival when others had not been as fortunate. The engine's rhythmic hum was a lullaby, soothing frayed nerves. Hartmann's breathing was steady, a deliberate act to quell the adrenaline that still coursed through his veins. I am alone, but never alone. Below, the landscape was a shadowy expanse, the details obscured by dusk. The fields and forests, once keenly observed for tactical advantage, now blurred into a single dark mass. The cold began to seep through Hartmann's gear, a stark reminder of the physical cost of his solitary aerial battles. The chill heightened the ache in his limbs, the fatigue a testament to the day's relentless demands. Some argue that it was Hartmann's mental discipline that truly set him apart. Records suggest he possessed an uncanny ability to compartmentalize, to push fear aside and operate with mechanical focus. Yet, in these quiet moments, the weight of his actions could not be ignored. The thrill of survival was tempered by the somber reality of war's toll. As he navigated back to base, the sky gradually lightened with the glow of distant fires below, a landscape scarred by conflict. The radio crackled to life, its static a signal that his solitude was nearing its end. He reached for the map, crumpled and worn, the tangible guide through the vast darkness. For those intrigued by the psychological intricacies of war's aftermath, consider subscribing for more explorations into the minds of those who navigated such profound challenges. With the night's first stars appearing, Hartmann prepared for landing. The map folded shut on his knee, signaling the end of this chapter and the beginning of another. As the indigo sky gave way to the first stars, Hartmann's Messerschmitt glided through the familiar air. The engine's hum was softer now, a backdrop to the day's echoes. The cockpit, once a sanctuary of focus and solitude, now felt different, tinged with the weight of memory. Below, the landscape was a dark canvas, indistinct and distant, much like the minds of those who witnessed the war from the ground. The radio was quiet, allowing space for reflection. This reconstruction of Hartmann's solitary battle illuminates the razor-thin line between survival and sacrifice. We see a pilot who mastered the art of aerial combat, navigating both the physical and psychological demands with unparalleled skill. Yet, the true cost of his legacy is shrouded in questions. How did he reconcile the thrill of victory with the sorrow of loss? What lingered in his mind during those silent moments after the fight? The sky remembers everything. Some argue that his ability to remain detached, even mechanical, was his greatest strength. Yet, this detachment also hints at the emotional burden he carried, a burden shared by many who face similar skies. The ethical implications of his actions, the responsibility to memory, and the cost of his legacy are more profound than any tally of victories. These are the shadows that haunt the edges of history. The cockpit, once a theater of tactical brilliance and isolation, now stands as a monument to the complex interplay of duty, fear, and survival. Hartmann's story is a reminder of the intricate human experience behind the machinery of war. The map on his knee, worn and folded, is a metaphor for the journey through both seen and unseen battles. If careful, human-centered reconstructions of history's most intense moments matter to you, subscribe and leave the one detail you think changes everything.